My name is Aubrey Tibbles, and welcome to this week's vlog. This week we covered Chapter 7 of Reading Pop Culture, where we read about teen literature and fan fiction, fear of fiction, and more. So to start, I wanted to discuss teen literature and fan fiction, a piece from Robin Brenner. She delved into the what if that any reader who is truly grasped by a novel has faced. What happened in between those two scenes? What was this character's childhood like? What kind of long-term effect is this experience that this character is having in this story right now going to leave later in their life? What's going to happen after this story to this character? These what-ifs address what we don't see. They cause our mind to wander, and for those of us who get truly grasped by a story and also are brave enough to try our hand at answering these what-ifs, well, we create fan fiction. I personally have never created fan fiction, but you get the point. So we see this sort of fan fiction heavily in, for instance, the superhero world, where gaps and opportunities for fan fiction writers are everywhere. The stories themselves, they just organically have these spaces where fan fiction writers thrive. It also helps that that the superhero fan community is very large, and so there's, a lot of creators in there. The variety of audience also adds to a variety of fan fiction directions. Having, a varietable audience allows for different fan fiction stories. Being diverse means that you might get, fan fiction stories that involve LGBTQ plus characters that weren't originally in the stories, and other diverse characters and diverse storylines, and that's awesome. Brennan also discusses what it means to be a fan, far wider than just the literature world. Being a fan in this modern age means being a part of a community and often collaborating with other fans. A general, good example for fans is in sports. They come together and they cheer on for their team and celebrate victories. Well, with fictional stories and fictional communities, it's very similar. You'll get people who will come together maybe for a convention or, a movie, like a film festival where, people might come together for sci-fi, or people will come together for superhero stuff, or people will come together for anime graphic novels. And, they have a fandom. Anything can grow into a fandom of sorts, and the larger it grows, the more potential for fans to branch out and create their own realities of stories that brought them together to begin with. Being a fan of something today can mean a whole reality. Fans come together and collaborate, create, and build communities, and it's really awesome. Moving on, I wanted to discuss Frank Rose's art of immersion, fear of fan fiction. Rose talks about how fiction stories can also allow people to escape their own reality and become something bigger than they have ever been imagined. Fictional games that immerse people can be an escape of some sort. He presents all these ideas through a story of a boy who's being first introduced to Dungeons & Dragons, D&D. He also talks about how sometimes people who can't enjoy fiction in its normal setting of books and literature can be immersed into the fictional games like D&D. So in his particular story that he's telling is about a kid who has severe dyslexia, and so reading a book is just simply unenjoyable. And so despite, the stories and fiction of books, it's unenjoyable because of the physical pain that dyslexia causes when he's reading. But being able to tell a story or be immersed in fiction through a game, he's able to enjoy fiction. Rose delves deeper into fiction games that immerse players into their world rich with story. Their purpose is similar to that of a good fiction book, to grasp the player and immerse them into a world that can help them escape from their own real world, or just offer them, an imaginary place that is different than the bland, regular world, if that's how it's seen. And then lastly, I wanted to address Chuck Klosterman's My Zombie Myself, Why Modern Life Feels Rather Undead. This addresses zombies, obviously. and how their appearance in movies, comics, and literature and video game has grown and become a genre that seemingly grows larger and larger with each franchise created. So many people tuned into The Walking Dead's premiere, and so many people tune into each zombie movie that's released, has become franchises and such. He talks about monsters in general and how when writing a fictional story involving monsters, how you create the monsters and its qualities can matter a lot. How difficult a monster is to kill, what attributes a monster has, what weaknesses it has. Those all really, really matter. And they might not seem like they matter that much, but they have to make sense, and that's really important. And he delves deeper in saying that one particular thing that makes zombies so appealing as a monster in a story is that they're so easy to kill that they would seemingly not be such a scary monster, but their sheer number of them is what makes them a danger. And then, zombie rules of zombies alter, amongst different franchises and stuff, but you definitely find that another quality that makes zombies super appealing is the fact that they're also often, if they get to you once, one bite, one scratch sometimes in certain stories means your own death, which is another reason why, makes them scary but also not dangerous. They're slow, they're easy to kill, they're, you hit them in the head and they're dead kind of thing. But then there's so many of them, and if all they have to do is get you once in order to kill you, and they're constantly growing, you can never really kill them all. Those are all things that, make them an appealing monster and villain, because they're not your run-of-the-mill monster. They're different, and that's what makes them so appealing. That being said, I didn't touch on every single thing that was written in all three of these pieces, but I touched on, what I found most interesting and I attached myself to the most. I wanted to thank you for tuning into my first vlog of the semester. I assume we'll be back here plenty more times, so until next time, bye!